Yeah. Oh, wow. Oof. Melatonin's hitting. Yeah. What's up, everybody? What's up, Fins? Nice to see you. Yeah, I guess we moved on from Venezuela real quick. God damn. It feels like so much has happened since Tuesday. Also, what is this that I'm just hearing now about Portland? Did you guys hear any of this Portland news? Let's look it up together. So literally, I just got a headline like, I took a bath with my kids and my husband got like a new melatonin bubble bath wash, and my kids are out, and I am just feeling so drowsy from it. Two people shot by ICE in Portland. That's what it was? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God. Hold on. Let me. It is so fucking dystopian. It's so dystopian. CNN was reporting they were being targeted by ICE and the traffic stop turned into an escape, of course. Hold on, I gotta log in. Oh, come on. Stop. Always trying to upsell me. Do you know how few people subscribe to you, New York Times? Don't upsell me. Okay, they survived. That's good at least. Jesus Christ. Every day is bleaker and bleaker. Federal agents shot 2 people in Portland, prompting leaders to demand anti-immigration crackdown there. U.S. Border Patrol agents were conducting a targeted vehicle stop, and one fired a shot after a driver tried to run them over. Hold on, what? It's the same fucking narrative? It's the exact same narrative? That's insane. It's just the same shit. 2 days apart. Oh my God. U.S. Border Patrol agents were conducting a targeted vehicle stop, and one fired a shot after a driver tried to run them over. Trisha McLaughlin, who is one of the worst people. She's the person whose husband, they paid her husband's company $250 million, $250 million to run an ad campaign for DHS starring Kristi Noem on a horse with a hat. $250 million. I've never heard of an ad campaign being $250 million, let alone one for fucking DHS. But that's besides the point right now. Spokeswoman Trisha McLaughlin described the agent's target as an undocumented immigrant and member of course. When in doubt, they are a member of Tren de Aragua. When in doubt. Hey, I guess it is still Venezuelan news. She provided no immediate evidence of his gang membership. No fucking shit. The shooting appears to have taken place near Adventist Health Portland, a hospital and collection of health clinics in Southeast Portland. Driver drove off after the agents fired on the vehicle, local officials said, and the 2 shooting victims were found by the police a short drive away with gunshot wounds. Jesus. In an impromptu news conference, Nathan Vasquez, district attorney, said the FBI and the city's police department were on the scene, declined to say who was leading the investigation. I mean, local authorities don't exist anymore in the world of Kash Patel's FBI. In Kash Patel's FBI, it's all men in blazers with the right 3 letters on them. It is only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. Also the automation of the police state, the mass surveillance, the Palantir technology that they're implementing. It is truly dystopian shit. We're living through what will be described in future history textbooks as the Second American Civil War. Or worse. Or worse. I don't know, man. This is crazy. Local leaders urged calm. We understand the heightened emotion and tension many are feeling. Of course, we understand neighbors are being killed. We understand. But I'm asking the community to remain calm in the face of your neighbors being killed. Jesus Christ. Keith Wilson. Yeah, this was the quote I heard. It said the incident was another sign that federal immigration efforts were out of control. It's bleak. It's dark. Yeah, what the fuck is worse? I mean, Civil War was a war fought to preserve or end slavery, among other things. I fear a war to reinstitute slavery. I mean, that's what this is. That's what, because when it comes down to it, yeah, states' rights. When it comes down to it, what they're trying to do, all right, this is my grand theory, and I think it's got like pretty good breadcrumbs behind it. What they're trying to do is, obviously the wealth gap is untenable, right? The billionaires have so much just inescapable wealth. They are hoarding resources. They are plundering other countries to get their resources, and they're all racing to this guardrail-less AI future that nobody knows what it's going to look like, including the people who are sprinting the fastest towards it. But in their like utopian view of it, there is a ruling class and an underclass, and they're securing them and their progeny for the ruling class, and they're creating the underclass, and they're doing it on the back of prison labor. And as prison labor becomes more scarce, how do you create more prison labor? Oh yeah, you just arrest more brown people in the country under the guise of securing the border and enforcing immigration laws. But you're just detaining brown people for an indeterminate amount of time and forcing them to work for like $1 a day. What the fuck? What the fuck? They are trying to, that is the only way that they can stave off. I mean, right now the race baiting is just pure distraction. It's pure misdirect. They're like fucking Penn and Teller over here. But what they are getting towards with this race-based class warfare is creating an underclass that makes it tenable for the non-billionaire white class to have some claim to prosperity in this country without making any claims on their stakes. And that's fucking it. That's fucking it. Because when rich people get so rich that their wealth is no longer about their quality of life, their ability to attain better quality of life, what is the only thing they can attain? Power. And what's more powerful? What is a more direct expression of power over everyone else than being a slaveholder? Like, fucking mark my words, that is what they aspire to be. That is why Elon Musk is out here tweeting shit constantly about how like slavery wasn't uniquely white and whites were the ones who ended slavery. And honestly, there's been slavery throughout all civilizations, and we should be praising Americans and Europeans for being the ones to end it. No other civilization had chattel slavery. No other civilization had the level of being born into a slave class that America did. Maybe slavery existed pre-US, but we took that shit and we took it to its nth degree. And we said, if you're born black, you're born a slave, period. Period, fucking period. There's no way to crawl your way out of slavery. It's not a class. It's just an asset. It's a property. And you have no right to your own body. No other civilization, no other society had created a chattel slavery system like that. That was so deeply systematic and integral to our ability to create wealth in this country. Oh, it makes me angry. And now all the fucking Elon heads are out here being like, imperialism's actually really good. African nations were actually better off under imperial rule. And now it's actually like, they actually can't self-rule. They don't have the ability to self-rule. They're incapable of self-rule. fuck out of here. Yeah, it makes me very angry. I'm sorry. Sorry. I wasn't trying to... I was feeling drowsy. I was feeling ready to... What was crazy when I was sitting next to my black friend and we were the only 2 people of color in the class who knew what the 3/5 compromise was. Yeah, they don't know their history either, or they know a whitewashed version of history. Like, most Americans did not learn the history of black people in this country, which is inextricable from the history of this country. And without that knowledge, it's impossible to understand where this like American exceptionalism, all this stuff stems from. It's fundamentally from our willingness to impose a level of enslavement that's thus far no society exceptional. Sure. Yeah. Exceptional in that right, for sure. I mean, I might be wrong. I don't know everything, obviously. Maybe there is an ancient civilization that I'm not aware of, or a middle-aged civilization that I'm not aware of that had a similar level of systemized chattel slavery, but not to my knowledge. What are these fuckers saying about it? This is why my For You page is so fucked on Twitter. It's just all the like MAGA, Elon, Nick Shirley bullshit. And then the occasional, like, let's see, melee tweet. Except, wait, this is a political tweet wrapped in a melee man. Unidentifiable men with questionable authority approach a vehicle. They're part of a government force made up of untrained volunteers with a power fantasy and a reputation for human rights abuses. A mother reacts to 2 of these armed men aggressively approaching her door to do literally who knows what. She reasonably panics and tries to book it. Then this armed man casually walks in front of this vehicle that's clearly attempting to maneuver to flee, and he does not move with any kind of urgency until he feels threatened. Facts. He had his fucking phone out. Suddenly he's able to move quickly, draws his weapon, clearly moves out of the path of danger, and while he's outside of the path of danger, fires 3 bullets into her. The bullet that killed her was absolutely fired from the side. It had to have been fired from the side. This is murder, and the fucking government is trying to tell you that your eyes can't see it. I don't know what to... I'm compelled to comment. I don't know what to say. Did I call it Twitter? It's very hard for me to call it X. What do I say to Hugs? Maybe a like is sufficient. Why is his name Hugs, not a landlord? Oof. I'm enjoying this grok. I feel like the Twitter revolutionaries, by which I mean the few leftists who are left on Twitter, have done a few fun like grok exploitations. The latest is this like, hey grok, delete the blank. So it'll be like delete the pedophile and then deletes Donald Trump, which I love. Prior to that, it was showing how grok was so inherently biased towards Elon Musk. Anytime you asked it like, who's more fit, Elon Musk or LeBron James, it came down on Elon Musk every fucking time. It's so funny. It was so, it glazed him like, oh, it was gross. It was gross. It should be recognized that a half-ounce bullet is unlikely to stop a 4,000-pound moving vehicle. And if the driver of the approaching vehicle is disabled by a bullet, the vehicle will become a totally unguided threat. Obviously, shooting at a moving vehicle can pose a risk to bystanders, including other agents. I don't fucking understand this. What value does he have? What value is there in shooting at the person who is maneuvering the vehicle? If the vehicle is the threat, if the person with the vehicle is the threat, and it's not a rage-based reaction, then you shoot the tires. You don't shoot the fucking person, because that saves nobody. That's just a retaliatory move based on anger. The lesbian agitator gave her life to protect 68 IQ. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh. I learned recently that I know a person who writes for Matt Walsh. And that was one of the most upsetting things I've learned in a while. Like, he lived with my boyfriend. It's so gross. It's so gross, Infinity. I had no idea. He was like a nice guy. Didn't seem like a crazy, insane, dumb. All of Matt Walsh's takes are dumb as hell. They are so dumb. They are so fucking dumb. This tweet he had after we invaded Venezuela, after we kidnapped the Venezuelan leader, his tweet about there's nobody who is as reflexively as non-interventionist as I am. And then he goes on to lick the boot of intervention. Without hesitation, he goes on to say, that said, let me justify why my entire identity was wrong because the man that my identity is actually based on took an action that is diametrically opposed to that identity. What's up, Dandelion? Sorry, I'm ranting. I'm angry. Our country is well, it's not your country, so you don't have to worry. I did some research in my downtime. And I want to show you guys what I found. I feel like there's certain things where like you do a bunch of analyses and what you net out at is just so intuitive that it's not interesting. And this is what I found in my research. I did a lot of analysis. Here, I'll share my screen. I'll share my work. My present's gonna be the little, yeah. I roomed with a Heritage Foundation intern. Oh, he legitimately believed the Civil War was about states' rights. I mean, look, if you did not educate yourself beyond what the public institutions in this country taught you, you would walk away. The A+ answer would be saying that the Civil War was about states' rights. Like, they drilled the truth out of you to drill fluff into your brain. And if you were an A+ student and that's the only thing you hung your hat on, you walked out of American public education system going like, yeah, states' rights. It was states' rights. All right, so look at this. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to recreate this on the fly, but we'll try. National data. This is the FBI. This is not where I got it. Hold on. So I had 2024 data somewhere. Hold on. The War of Northern Aggression. I know people in Michigan who have Confederate flag license plates. Yeah. They claim it's historical. They claim it's their ancestry. And I'm like, you want to boast about that? That's something you really want to tell people? If that were my ancestry, I would be fucking ashamed. Okay, here we go. Wait, no. Crime data exploration. Here we go. This must be it. That's true. Michigan wasn't part of the Confederacy. I missed the Michigan part. Yep, it belongs as a hate symbol. We shouldn't forget about it, but it certainly doesn't belong as a symbol of something that you are proud of, that you would put on your car. Why am I finding? Okay, here we go. I think I found it. All right, so this is the year 2024. This is gonna be some nerdy ass shit, but I wish I could. What is it about trying to do something when you're in front of people? Like if you're at work and you're trying to recreate something, it's always so much harder. Okay, here we go. The crime that I'm trying to narrow in on is called... All right, you know what? I'm just gonna pull up the screenshots that I saved. I think that's gonna be easier, better. But yeah, I think any time, because like I said, I've been spending a lot of time in these right-wing TikTok spaces, and it either comes down to they will narrow in on single edge cases, and extrapolate to an entire population. That's a big part of their move, of their move set, or they will narrow into how something is abiding by strict definitions of the law, without grappling with whether that's a good thing, without grappling with like, does that tell you that our laws have gaps in them, and that instead of backing the actions that came out of those gaps, we should be talking about closing those gaps? Like, they're always like, well, of course, Trump has, it's not illegal for Trump to have conflicts of interest. That's not against the Emoluments Clause. It's not illegal for Trump to have cryptocurrency in his name. It's not illegal for him to have branded his whole fucking hospitality chain and let foreign heads of state stay in his hospitality chain to curry favor. That's not illegal. It's not illegal. It's not illegal. Okay. Fucking argue with me all night about how it's not illegal. Is it okay? Do we think that's okay? Do we as a society go like, yeah, it's not illegal, and it's okay in my book for the president to be profiting off of his role as the leader of our nation and thinking about how to squeeze every last penny out of this endeavor rather than thinking about how to actually lead this fucking country? I feel like that's the part that they really miss. All right. So here's the data that I found. Why is this so hard for me to find? The problem with the murder of Renee Good by Jonathan Ross is that everyone sees the video, draws their own conclusion as clear-cut based on their prejudices, and we all disagree on the facts, thinking the same evidence supports our opinion. That's not just the problem with the Renee Good murder. That's not only with that, it's with everything. It's with every single thing that has happened. Every single thing. Trump releases 1% of the Epstein files when he was mandated to release all of them by like December 19th. All of those are redacted, and people who don't like Trump go, yeah, he's hiding something. And people who are obsessed with Trump go like, you'll never be pleased. There's no amount that this man could give you that would finally satiate you. If we don't have a similar fact basis to operate off of, where do we even go? Like, how do we do this? I real question, because a genuine question. I don't know. It is the persistent problem of 2025 and an administration that leans in to the misinformation and the propagandization of individual citizens. They lean into that shit. So of course there's no truth basis for us to operate from. Okay, here's what I wanted to show. They finally got Epstein out of the news. They were laughing about crashing the stock market. Like, it doesn't matter. None of it matters. None of it matters to them. Because what they are ultimately after is just extraction. They just want to extract as much from the system as they can. And they don't fucking care, ultimately, what happens. They don't fucking care what happens with this country. That's not what they're about. All right. Here's what I want to show. This is from the FBI's arrest database, crime database. And this is from 2024. It shows how many arrests in the US in 2024 were due to offenses against the family and children, which is roughly comparable to like domestic violence charges. And you can see here that 0.6% of arrests, there were about 7.5 million arrests made in 2024. 0.6% of them, so 47,000, were due to DV. Let's call it DV. All right, so then I was like, I wonder how that compares. I wonder how that compares to the arrest rates for that same crime for CBP officers. And what's really cool is that all that information is publicly available, is provided by CBP. So I went and pulled that data from cbp.gov. And here you can see 24% of arrests of CBP employees in 2024, so same year, 24%, roughly 63 people, were due to domestic/family misconduct, DV. 24% versus 0.6%. Now that just speaks to like the proportion of arrests that are for one thing or another. But if you extrapolate that out to the population, so 63 arrests of CBP officers out of like 66,000 CBP officers, and 47,000 arrests of American citizens out of like 350.1 million. The rate at which CBP officers commit crimes like DV is 7 times higher than the general American public. 7 times higher. And like, obviously CBP officers skew male, blah, 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 blah. But even when you control for that, they are likelier. They are genuinely likelier, based on just the arrest data from 2024. They are genuinely likelier to be arrested for having committed domestic violence offenses than the general public. That's a great question, Leggy, and I couldn't find the data for all of the cops because there's so many. They're so fragmented. I think probably like federal agencies, maybe the FBI, I could find that data, but you can't, like, because so much of that is like local databases. It's too fragmented. That was my next question, because my hypothesis was that while cops would be elevated over Gen Pop, I would think CBP is still higher, because think about who they're hiring. What's up, Jaw Dropper? The biggest and greatest. I'm just ranting about statistics and CBP. It's wild. It's truly wild. It's wild. I was already aware that cops commit way more DV. You were aware? Okay. I didn't know if that was public knowledge. I've never seen the data on it. And there is substantial data provided by National Institutes of Justice that show that domestic violence is highly correlated with other escalations of violence outside the home. Is one of the most highly correlated arrest factors. I wonder if DHA agents are even worse. I wonder as well. Because the way that man turned his gun on her, it wasn't self-defense. It was the ire of being, because I've been hit by a car in a similar situation where it was like very slow. It was moving very slowly. I was on a run and this guy just wasn't looking, and he just kind of like nicked me. And like, it's still debatable whether this guy got nicked. I saw like a former Fed was on CNN and he was like, well, he did get nicked. Maybe he got nicked. Maybe. But the reaction was not one of, I'm about to die. It was not one of, I'm about to die. And I've gotten nicked by a car. And when I got nicked by the car, I felt anger in my body. Like, how fucking dare this person? I'm a pedestrian. I'm crossing the street legally. They're not looking. How fucking dare this person? There was like a rage inside my body that immediately quelled. It was like an instant human reaction that went away within milliseconds. But I felt it. And I think I like threw my hands down on his dashboard, partially to brace myself, but partially because I was angry. And that's what he was doing. That when you watch the footage of how he pulled his gun, didn't shoot just once, but got on her side, shot twice, shot 3 times, then walked off like a motherfucker, got in a car and drove away. That was not self-defense. That was not a man afraid for his life. Obviously, this is all speculative. I don't have any inside information that would tell me this, but that was a fucking man who was angry that he got nicked by a woman in a car. Yeah, we're talking about the Minnesota thing. It's the same ire they tried to rip her out of the car with. Exactly. It's the ire of, not that they are criminals or somebody in the wrong and they're trying to evade justice. That's not what it is. It's, how dare you disobey my rule? It's my rule. It's my law. I am the law. How the fuck you come in here and disobey me? That is the anger that they're emitting in that moment. Because the vast majority of people that they are pulling over, that they are detaining, arresting, etc., they are not doing any crimes. They're not doing crimes. These are not people who have righteousness complexes like I do. I have a righteousness complex. If I think somebody's fucking someone else over, I get angry. That's not what this is. It's not a righteousness complex. It's a self-righteous complex. It's, how dare you disobey my authority? They want to have power over citizens. That's what it is. They want to have power of their wives, over their partners. And when that power is not able to be effectively exerted, they lose their shit. They hurt the people in their homes, and they get arrested for domestic violence at 7 times higher rates than American citizens, than the general public. 7 fucking times. Oh. Janice from The Sopranos has a righteousness complex. I wish I remember The Sopranos better. I was high the entire time I watched that show. I gotta watch it again, not high. Who's Janice? Who the fuck is Janice? The therapist? One of my favorite genres of YouTube videos, cops begrudgingly arresting other cops. Sergeant, I have to arrest you for drinking and driving. My body cam is on. Yeah, dude. The cop who arrested the ICE agent who was drunk driving with his kids in the car, and the ICE agent's like asking the cop, like, what are you, Dominican? Like he's trying to re-exert his authority over the cop who's arresting him in that moment. What a dumb shit. Tony's sister. I see. I didn't even remember Tony had a sister. That's how high I was. They call it the courtesy. Yeah. Nobody fucks with the blue line. Infuriating. It is the level of solidarity they have with each other, and then they get outraged that the community, the neighborhoods that they are over policing and terrorizing have similar levels of solidarity. Yeah, the courtesy to look away at another cop breaking the law. And that's why they don't like when we get educated, because the ability to think critically about the hypocrisies and the injustices. As a Dominican, I was low-key laughing because that guy would be going to the ninth circle of hell if he asked me that question. I feel like I'm old because whenever I hear I'm Dominican, it's I don't know if anyone saw that Scrubs episode, that musical Scrubs episode way back when. God, it's such a dated reference. I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna abandon midship. Scrubs. Yep. You one of them Latiners? What are you from? Latino America? Up here we just call it America. No Latino. Bobby Lopez wrote those songs. They're so great. I love those songs. Yes, the Turk and Carla song. I'm Dominican. Get the fuck out of here, jaw dropper. I feel like Scrubs was peak. I'm not gonna lie. It had everything. It had heart. It had humor. It had like medical shit. You don't watch much. What's up? What's up, Golzer? Good to see you too. We're just in here ranting about the state of the world, how things are scary and sad. It's a good outlet though, because I sit in my brain all day thinking about how fucked up this shit is. And then I'll go in like a MAGA TikTok live and people will yell at me about how I'm stupid. And I get very little agreement. When there's no competition. So what do you watch? Dropper? Just like reality competition shows? Yeah, Scrubs has legit medical info. I feel like Scrubs and then that new medical show, The Pit, were kind of like on par. You know? I like video games. I've heard about an interesting thing. I hear Skittles is branching into gaming, which is fascinating. That's what I'm saying, Liggy. I don't think any other TV show did it quite as well as they did. And like took you from moment to moment. You didn't even see it coming. You didn't see the heart coming. You're laughing, and suddenly you're crying. Never saw it coming. What's up, Tex? Yeah, I was gonna say the thing with the ICE agents and CBP is they've moved so far past the realm of legality, and this was all intentional, all by design, because everything has been adjudicated. ProPublica came out and had that finding where it's like 170 U.S. citizens have been detained by ICE unlawfully in the last year. 170, and then nothing happened. And then today it came out that the lawsuit that the people in Chicago had brought together against the unlawful use of force against CBP and DHS, they dropped the lawsuit because while they got a favorable ruling in the lower court, the district court kind of signaled that like the lower court maybe overreached, and so they dropped it. because they don't want to set a precedent whereby the lower court is kind of like dinged for overreaching, and they dropped it. So if we don't have judicial avenues to pursue this, and Congress is just fucked, then what the fuck are we even looking at? Like, what's left? For president, I got way too many skeletons. Do you know who my brother is? No fucking way they love the sister of a mayo bather. They're never gonna have a mayo bathing family in the White House. Ted Lasso is a banger. Even if she was disobeying an agent's orders or whatever, it's not a reason to kill. Yeah, exactly. She's disobeying an agent's orders. Okay, you get her license plate, you arrest her, and you take her to court. That's literally what our American legal system was built on. It was built on the premise that you have a right to your day in court and to not just be shot on sight for committing a perceived crime. But all that doesn't matter, because what did fucking Kristi Noem say recently about the justice? Let's see if I can find this quote. Kristi Noem, wrath of the justice system. Her response to somebody in DHS was like, the wrath of the U.S. justice system is going to be brought down. And it's like, hold on, wasn't the whole thing about the U.S. justice system that it was impartial? Like, the famous thing about justice has no justice is blindfolded, right? There's no prejudice, there's no emotion, there's no wrath behind our justice. It's literally meant to be this shit right here. This is what our justice system has always been depicted by, until this administration comes through and it's like the whole wrath of the U.S. justice system. This is the justice system. Look at it. She's wearing a blindfold. She's holding scales, wearing a blindfold. She's kind of hot. Like, what? This is not wrath. This is not what our justice system was personified through. It's not wrath. It's not emotion. It's supposed to be neutral. It's supposed to be an impartial ability to judge. Only a blind girl would love you. The admins coalition is falling apart in real time. A bunch of Republicans swapped to vote for ACA credits in the House. Yeah, but you know what? You know why they did that? Because the midterms are coming up and they know that that's not going to hold any teeth, because the Senate is not going to vote for it. And if the Senate did somehow vote for it, Trump's not going to pass it. So it's got no teeth. It's got no teeth. They're just doing it to signal to their constituents, because right about now, all of their constituents are realizing how absolutely fucked they're getting by the big beautiful bill and the lack of protection for their subsidies. And they're like, oh fuck, if I want any chance to be reelected, I need to give a nominal vote in favor of extending subsidies. But it's not going to go through. It's not going to go through. And it's fucking sad. Because people are getting so fucked. They're getting so fucked. Their healthcare is ballooning. Their healthcare is going to balloon 3-4x. Their ability to buy a home is not getting any better, because large investment companies are coming through and buying up all the vacant homes. There's not enough supply. And all the vacant homes are owned by huge companies that can afford to pay what institutional investors who can afford to pay what retail buyers cannot. So they're being priced out of health. They're being priced out of housing. And food wise, I mean, you can argue like, okay, we've made some strides with eggs or whatever the fuck, but like the tariffs are fucked. The tariffs are fucked. So every basic need on like Maslow's pyramid of hierarchy of needs, every basic fucking need is ballooning. And American MAGA Trumpers are sitting here being like, yeah, but he extended the tax cuts and no taxes on tips. And it's like, no, you don't fucking get it. You don't fucking get it. All of that is temporary. All of that is just like window dressing. And what's in the actual store is just gold that you will never be able to touch. Gold for the people who already have the gold. Gold for those people. Yikes. Tim Kaine? Over which thing? Over letting the giving up the fight. There was some theory floating around that I can't remember what it was. It sounded so fucking convoluted that the reason Tim Kaine and that coalition came together was so that the healthcare subsidies would actually balloon, because if they actually stopped it, then it would take away their midterm opportunity. And it's bullshit. So like I think what you're referring to, Liggy, on the budget deal is that Tim Kaine and a coalition of Democrats, all the Democrats were holding out because they were like, we will not allow a budget to move forward without protecting the subsidies that allow Americans to have healthcare that is at least, I wouldn't say affordable, but not exorbitant to the extent that they are just going to have to choose between life and money, like life and life. People are effectively choosing now, do I just gamble my life and not buy health insurance because I literally cannot afford health insurance? And the subsidies were meant to extend the current price points, basically, by the government providing subsidies. And this is because like the subsidies aren't going to make anything better, by the way. It's just maintaining what the levels were already at. And Republicans have been trying to figure out since Obama, how do we roll back ACA? How do we roll back the provision of affordable healthcare? And it's not affordable. I wouldn't say it's even affordable, but how do we roll back the provision of affordable healthcare? Because there shouldn't be a social safety net, and collectivism is a path to communism, and it's scary and terrifying, blah, 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 blah. All the anti-communist propaganda that they've fed us since the 50s, all the while they're instituting massive social safety nets that are actually making us more prosperous. But put all that aside. They're trying to figure out how to dismantle the ACA. And so this big, beautiful bill, this budget bill, doesn't have any protections for the subsidies. And so the Democrats clung on to this one thing. And it was smart. They were like, they haven't come together. They haven't had any smart, substantive strategy in so fucking long. And they were like, you know what? This is the thing. We're going to rally around it. And we're going to say, no, we will not pass your budget until you give us our subsidies. And it was one of the longest, I think it was the longest shutdown in our history. And towards the end, and it was like SNAP was being defunded, even though he had the ability to fund SNAP. This was back in like October, or early November. He had the ability to fund SNAP. He claimed he didn't. He claimed he didn't have the ability to fund SNAP, but he has the ability to kidnap the Venezuelan president. That's where we are at with this administration. Just always remember that. Remember that he says he doesn't have the authority to fund SNAP, but he has the authority to kidnap the Venezuelan president. Remember that. Anyway, they are moving towards all of these disastrous. Like I was panicking. I was like, we left out food on our stoop during Halloween because we were like, I don't know, are people in our neighborhood gonna need food? Nobody took any food. They all just took candy. But yeah, like people were panicking. I was panicking. And then the Democrats, it was like Tim Kaine. I even forgot who the coalition was at this point, but it was a coalition of like centrist-ish Democrats who were like, it's Tim Kaine's whole thing, because he's Virginia, where I'm at. And he was like, the Virginian workers, the government workers in Virginia want to get back to work. No, they don't. They were all in for this fight. They were like, fight this shit. Make them say, we're going to keep the government shut down because we don't want to give you money for your healthcare. Fight this. There's no way for them to spin this. And so then this coalition of of Democratic senators came together, and they kind of like snuck around in theory. I mean, I don't think they actually did. I think they had cleared this all with Schumer way in advance. But anyway, they opened up the government with the promise of a future vote, which is what this is. The promise of a future vote. And everybody was mad. And they're like, what the fuck is this? This is back to the no backbone, no actual spine Democrat leadership that we're familiar with. And now it's like, okay, now it's coming to fruition. Now all of the long game is paying off. But what? To what end? People's healthcare has gone up. The subsidies, yeah, they passed the House. They're not going to pass the Senate. Trump's not going to sign them into law. The most that they're doing is getting a vote on the record for these people to say, well, I voted to extend your subsidies. I voted for that. Oh, Democrats should have kept the fight up. Don't eat that chocolate. Fuck. He ate chocolate. Damn it. The Democrats should have kept the fight up during the government shutdown for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's had, you know, this guy has had so much. Come here. Come right here. He's 11 years old. He's had so much. Come right here. Come here. Sit. Give five. Good boy. He's had a lot of forbidden snacks in his lifetime. He once ate, I had a barbecue and I had a bone this thick. And he grabbed it and had it in his mouth. And I was like, oh, fuck. And I like went in to try to grab it out of his jaws of life mouth. And he swallowed that shit. And I panicked. Like, no, not only did he swallow, it was like stuck in his throat. And I was like, I think my only option is to push it down so he doesn't choke. So I pushed it down his esophagus. And then I rushed him to urgent care. And the vet, like, by the time they did the x-rays, they were like, his stomach juices have already digested this bone. I don't know what your dog is made of. This guy can eat anything. He's super healthy. He's 11 years old and he's a very healthy boy. All right, you want to do a trick? Go back. Okay, sit. Say hello. Say hello. Hello. No flex. He was the Beverly Hills dog of 2017. Still got the trophy. Beverly Hills dog 2017. It's a very cute dog. Anyway, yeah, the Democrats really fucked themselves on it. And this was also around the time that Mamdani was running. And these motherfuckers couldn't come out and endorse him. They could not endorse him. Mamdani had won the Democratic ticket and the Democratic establishment could not bring themselves to endorse him. And the way they justified that was by going, well, when Kamala was running for president, Mamdani didn't endorse her, which is just some schoolyard bullshit. Well, when we did it, he didn't vote for me. Why should I vote for him? He didn't vote for me. I don't know, because your entire base is actually galvanized by something, excited about something. Maybe that reason. I don't know. I feel like the calm music underlying my ranting is kind of helping. God damn. Here it is. Here's the video that they're all trying to push on us. God, that's brutal. God, that's fucking brutal. I'm sorry. I should have given you a warning. He was just blatantly on the side. Oh. I made a short about this, but like the disparity between what Trump said about Ashley Babbitt, one of the January 6th rioters, when she stormed the speaker's lobby in 2020 and was shot down for it. The disparity between his statement about her and what he said about Renee Good, it just is so jarring how willing they are to not just like dabble in propaganda, but operationalize propaganda throughout this entire administration. Like unprecedented levels. Yeah, Charlie Kirk versus Melissa Hortman. Obviously politicians are politicians and presidents of each party will always try to smooth over optics. But I don't, maybe I'm looking with rose-colored glasses. I feel like this level of actively sowing division and propagandizing individual Americans' lives, I feel like this is new. And maybe I'm wrong, but I've been observing our politics for a long time. Let's see what they're saying here.
and hopeful that they will do so over the next couple of days, as I'm expecting many to want to express their frustration and disappointment with events today. As I said, this is early on. We do not know the cause, but we are engaged, and hopefully we'll have more information as the evening unfolds. I'm going to turn it over now to Mayor Wilson.
Did it happen this afternoon, this evening?
I just want to also just reiterate what he had talked about the city standing tall and really
It's
standing
terrible.
together.
It's
And
terrible, man.
I've been before you already too many times under these circumstances, but I'm grateful that every time I do make the call within
This is
such
live.
a short
Yeah, like
period of time, that the Madam Governor will answer the call, and all of the individuals standing behind me and all of our elected officials and community leaders are standing with us as well. And we've always stood together, and we will continue to stand together. Just one day after the horrific violence in Minnesota, our community here in Portland was witness to a moment of fear, confusion, and heartbreak. Earlier this afternoon, 2 people were shot and injured by federal agents in the Hazelwood neighborhood. Violence in our community is devastating. These are not statistics. These are human beings. Portland is not a training ground for militarized agents. When the administration talks about using full force, we are seeing what it means on our streets. The consequences are not abstract. They are felt in hospital rooms and living rooms, in the quiet moments when families try to make sense of what happened, what is happening. We know what the federal government says happened here. There was a time when we could take them at their word. That time is long past.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is why we are calling on ICE to halt all operations in Portland until a full and independent investigation can take place. Our community deserves answers. Our community deserves accountability. And most of all, our community deserves peace.
Well,
Earlier
as do all
today, I
communities.
spoke with Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry. We shared not just our concerns, but our grief for the families who are suffering and grief for the recklessness
Yeah,
of our
Renee Good
federal
was a mom
government.
of a young kid.
The
A young
administration
fucking
is
kid.
trying to divide us, to pit communities against one another, to make us fear one another. Portland. This is a moment to hold each other close.
What do we do, Marb?
To
What the
stand
fuck do we
together,
do?
To remember that our strength has always
They
come
want
from
us to think that if we go out there and
community,
protest, this
compassion,
is going to
and
happen to us.
solidarity. Yesterday, Governor Walz.
Yeah, investigations aren't
made
going to
an
amount
appeal
to
all
jack
of us.
fucking shit because
Today,
the FBI told
I wanna
local
say
authorities
clearly
that they
that we
cannot
stand
investigate in
with
Minneapolis.
We
They
stand
said
with
they told Minneapolis and Minnesota to
We
fuck
stand with
off.
Chicago. We stand
So
with
what do we
LA.
think Cash Patel's FBI is going
We
to tell us?
stand with every community that is hurting in our nation, every family that is afraid, every person who feels unseen or unheard. ICE agents and their Homeland Security leadership must fully be investigated and held responsible for the violence inflicted on the American people in Minnesota, in Portland, and in all the communities across America.
Now tell us how.
The
Tell
Federal
us how you're going
Protective
to do
Service
it.
claims values such as service, integrity, honor, and vigilance. This is the moment to live those values, not behind masks,
Oh, yeah.
not through intimidation, but through transparency, accountability, and most
I
of
don't know
all,
how he would have
humanity.
orchestrated
So
this,
thank you.
but
I'd like to turn
it
over
sure
to
feels convenient timing.
the governor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Chief Day.
Yep.
Good evening,
Yep, Logie.
Oregonians. We are standing here today.
Do a press
united
conference every goddamn day
as a
until you
state,
feel satisfied that you
wanting
have
peace
information
and
that is
safety in our
valid
communities.
and that is truthful. Do a
We're
press
all
conference.
shaken
Him,
and
Keith,
outraged
what's
by
his name of
another
Portland,
terrible,
and
unnecessary,
Zach
violent event
Frey, I think,
instigated
of
by the
Minneapolis. Do a
reckless
press conference every
agenda
fucking
of the
day.
Trump administration.
Talk about
This
it
time
every
in our
day.
own state, in our largest city, coming just one day after the tragedy in Minnesota. While the details of the incident remain limited, one thing is very clear. When a president endorses tearing families apart and attempts to govern through fear and hate rather than shared values, you foster an environment of lawlessness and recklessness. Trust
You know this.
is essential to maintaining community safety and the rule of law. Federal agents at the direction of the Department of Homeland Security are shattering trust. They are hurting people, and they are destroying day by day what we hold dear. Our sense of safety and our literal safety are severely undermined by what happened this afternoon in Portland. I'm so thankful that no one died and more people weren't hurt. The Attorney General and other leaders have been clear about our concerns with the excessive use of force by federal agents in Portland. And today's incident only heightens the need for transparency and accountability. Oregonians deserve clear answers. And I am aligned with the mayor. The priority right now is a full, completed investigation, not more detentions. My message to the federal government is this: we demand transparency. We demand your cooperation with Portland Police and the Multnomah County DA, because we need to investigate this incident efficiently and effectively so we can rebuild trust with our nation's government. There are those who want to cause chaos, but Oregonians know how to stand up and speak out peacefully. We must remain united in peaceful opposition to efforts to tear our community apart. We must not turn against each other. We must stand neighbor to neighbor. We must not take the bait. And I want to end by saying I'm grateful to the first responders who have been managing this incident today here in Portland. And I stand and we stand united with Americans across our country and with Minneapolis and Minnesota in light of these very troubling events. Thank you.
So there's no details, nothing, no information.
I'd now like to hand over the podium to Senator Casey Jama, Democratic leader in the Oregon Senate.
This isn't helpful. This isn't helpful. The number of times we've heard people come up here and give a fucking press conference only for this to just go away and never enter the public consciousness again. It's not helpful. I want answers. I want Nick Shirley to be held accountable for trying to villainize an entire group demographic of people, entire people of country of origin, based on his dumbass brain not processing how the world works. He's 23 years old.
My prayer is to the families and those who are hurt, and I hope they will recover speedily. As I said, I have been in this country about 28 years and a former refugee. I have never thought I will see this moment in the United States of America. This is a challenging time for us. My colleagues and I are working together to ensure that we address this issue at the state legislative level. We want to do as best as we can to protect the Oregonians who are fearful, who are scared, who are facing persecution.
Just don't know what we get out of this.
Law. So we're going to introduce quite a number of bills that will be trying to minimize the impact of ICE in our community. I'm outraged and angry and frustrated, as many Oregonians are. Let me speak to Oregonians. I share your frustration. An immigrant refugee community, let me talk directly to them. I share your fear. I share your challenges that we're all facing. And I know that the struggle is real. Let me say this.
And what? And what do we do?
To the Oregonians. Oregonians are welcoming. The state of Oregon is welcoming state. We want to keep that way. We want to fight for that. We want to work hard for that. And we want to make sure that all Oregonians feel welcome. Let me say to this to the federal.
I don't know what I expect him to do, but I just don't see that. It's validating that this is just a normal, by going out and giving a normal presser, it's validating that this is just the normal course of our society of our democracy, and it's not. Like what's happening right now is manifestly different from the normal course of our society and democracy. How long until someone's being ripped out of their car for nothing but ice and the driver decides, well, if I'm going to be shot, might as well take them with me? Yeah, I mean, that the future state that they're going to get to, though, with the AI and weaponization of technology, is they're going to say any kind of crime against any violence against an agent is going to justify the heavily militarized policing of American citizens by AI technology, like drone shit. And that's not a future I'm excited about. What was that story? I don't know if you guys saw the story. Yeah, here it is. This is a crazy dystopian story, and it just got glossed over. This was back in October, and a 16-year-old kid in Baltimore County was flagged by an AI security system. He was carrying an empty Doritos bag, and he was flagged as having a firearm. And within minutes, there were cop cars outside the school with guns trained on him. He was 16 years old eating a bag of Doritos. This is what he said. They made me get on my knees, put my hands behind my back, and cuffed me. They searched me, and they figured out I had nothing. Then they went over to where I was standing and found a bag of chips on the floor. The first thing I was wondering was I about to die? Because they had a gun pointed at me. 8 cop cars pulled up to the school. I was just holding a Doritos bag. It was 2 hands and 1 finger out, and they said it looked like a gun. The AI-powered security system at the school is just one example of how schools are approaching safety in the age of mass gun violence. AI tools have exploded in popularity in recent years, including tools to help monitor surveillance footage. Fun. So fucking fun and dystopian. What's up, Hasty? I'm just screaming. We are Charlie Cock. I do love that song. It's a banger. Even if you're not violent and just do something they don't like, they'll say you're violent. Abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. There was the other woman shot by ICE in Chicago. I think it was Chicago. It's all gonna get drowned out by the Minneapolis news. I'm not gonna be able to find this story. Or was it LA? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? The story, it was like months ago. This woman was shot like 6 times. She survived, but she was shot. Similar situation. Car. I think a good We Are Charlie Kirk does a lot for someone's day. Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun song. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Am I tripping here? I'm pretty sure. No. There was they tear gassed Chicago was just tear gas happy. There was a woman. They didn't shot 6 times. Oh yeah, here it is. 6 times by ICE. If you say 6 times, then it'll come up because I shoot so many people that you have to specify the number of times they shot this person. Nope, that's not it. Come on. Nobody's remembering this. I know this happened. Maybe it was CBP. Oh, wow, this story. Woman shot in Minneapolis is at least the 5th person killed in U.S. immigration crackdown. I was not aware of that. Man struck on California freeway. Gardener from Honduras killed on Virginia Interstate in Norfolk. Oh, my God. Oh, it's dark. It's dark. I'm not going to find the story, am I? This definitely happened. I'm definitely not making this up. Trust. I'm going to put on... It was a similar situation where she was in a car, she was trying to evade, and no, I'm not finding it. God damn. They said she shot at them, and then they dropped the charges because she didn't shoot at them, and they couldn't prove that she attempted to shoot at them. I can't find it. Oh, well, I know this is real. I know I'm not tripping. Anyway, dark times out there. I just wanted to hop on for a bit and chat before my night ended. Thank you guys for hanging out for a bit. I'll be back on probably longer next week. I'm going to have a bit more energy. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm trying to be on from 8 to 11. And I'll be hanging out. But I appreciate you all stopping by, and stay safe. Stay safe out there.